horse drifted alarmingly in the betting was, fancied in the morning, continued to drift. It was late on the exchanges to lose. It was something you'd see in a Dick Francis novel, Charles Buttons.
The ground is soft. It's
heavy.
It's soft on times.
It's heavy.
Okay.
And a very warm welcome to the Bar Steward's Inquiry Sunday sermon. Well, hopefully you're sat at home, you've had your Le Boeuf and your Yorkshire puds, and you're absolutely swimming in gravy. Northern boys love gravy. And you just sat now relaxing to this pod. Well, my counterpart today is John Lane of John Joe's Blogspot. My name's Lee Keys of systembet.co.uk. And we're going to chew the fat over the weekend at Longchamp, Saturday and Sunday. But we're going to start the show off with me and John are a bit sick because good old Catherine Fry, she's just banged in. It's won by about 3 furlongs at Utoxeter in the 540. She told us on the pod on Friday, the bomber Liston. And it's absolutely done that, just bombed in. And me and John had to watch it without a penny on. How do you feel, John?
I felt better, I must admit. I'll chuck a mince pie down into the cellar for Fry after that. I think
so. I think she'll be expecting some lotion in the basket, that kind of thing.
She's earned some supper there.
So well done, Catherine Fry. She backed it up with a winner as well yesterday. I struggle with Catherine because she's brilliant. With the jumpers, and I always seem to be on the wrong ones, which is so frustrating. I'm always trying to be cute and select and go through them myself. If I just back them all blind, I'd be all right. I mean, but there you go. Well done, Catherine Fry. There's more of Catherine to come this winter as the jump season kicks in. Now we've got this Le Bog ground, and like I say, the lineups to come this week. We potentially, am I right, John? We could have the Ginger Hitler on the show.
I think there's an outside chance he's debating whether to go up to Sunderland on Friday or not.
Well, it's just a disgrace.
We've got the Intercity firm lined up.
We've definitely got Davis, and if we don't have Hitler, then we'll have to maybe just get Catherine Fry up out of the cellar, I think, to make the 4th maybe, and she can tell us some more twig hoppers next weekend. Anyway, on with the show. Enough rambling. Longchamp, as you know, have just basically finished their 2-day extravaganza, and yesterday we saw some good action. Obviously, the principal race on Saturday was the Prix de Cadran. Won in very good style in the end by Trushan. Obviously wasn't Stradivarius's ground. Princess Zoe looks like she wants about 4 mile 4 furlongs in a flat race as she was travelling, turning in, got completely out of pace, and then was actually stayed on probably strongest of all at the line back into, was it 3rd or 4th? I can't remember, but I looked at her and thought, that's weird. That's a weird kind of race. She really stays. Did you have any view on the Cadran, John?
Yeah, the only real view I had on the Cadran was what I tweeted earlier when I was asking for people's opinions, that I thought Trushan settled much better than he has for Holly Doyle all season. And I personally, my own view of this, I think that illustrates where Holly Doyle needs to be as regards making it as a recognised Group 1 jockey. I think there's still a problem with her when horses go keen with her. Yeah,
you've always made a point of it this summer, and about her being able to settle, particularly very testosterone laden animals in the main. When she's riding for the top yards and the top colts. It's fair point. I think you've also mentioned a size before, John. You think she's...
Yeah, she reminds me very much of Michael Roberts, and there was a view when he got the Sheikh Mohammed job that he couldn't really, for want of a better phrase, wrap himself around some of these bigger horses and keep them calm and settled. It was a bit like rolling about a bit like a pea on a drum.
Yeah.
And there is that theory regarding some of the smaller jockeys, if you like. I know there was talk with Showmaker back in the day. He tended to let the hard pullers get away from him a little bit, but you can't argue with about 85,000 winners, can you?
No. No, it's a fair point. I always like your opinions on these things. Listeners, do you agree with John there? Do you think the Doyler, the real Doyler, was better than Holly?
The OG, the original.
The original, yeah. Let us know what you think, if you agree with John there. But yeah, it was a good performance by the winner, but kind of not unexpected given, Quentin was very keen on Trushan on the show, and, you could see why it wasn't Strad's ground. The Irish horse really wouldn't be in Trushan's class, I don't think, unless they went 4 miles. So, yeah, summed up there. And there was another eye-catching performance yesterday, I felt. Obviously, he didn't win by a potato field or anything, but Manobo, which is obviously a favourite horse of mine, I've been banging on about it ever since it beat Mojo Star on debut. I thought he was quite impressive, John, yesterday. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought he was fizzy enough early on. I mean, he went through the first 400 yards pulling like Rolf, didn't he?
Yeah.
And to do what he did, I thought was excellent.
Do you think he needs long distances?
No.
I don't.
No, definitely not. I think they've probably got it in their minds that they've got classic cliche with bells on here and win a couple of Gold Cups. But
yeah, I'd
much prefer they went to Coronation Cups than Gold Cups.
Yeah, I'm totally in your camp here. That it's as if they're steering this one. Like to do it. They've obviously got an abundance this year of mile and a half tackle, and it's as if they've just sort of said, right, we feel this bugger will stay, and straight away, it didn't get any fancy entries after its setback. Naturally, perhaps they just want to ease it in. And then all of a sudden they've entered it in the long distance cup on Champions Day, and they've gone for this 1.7 miles at Longchamp. And as I said, he stamps to me, the way he's gone about his business over 12 furlongs. Anyway, I think he's very high class. I certainly feel. I mean, I don't know what you think. I think he could, or he's as good as say a Hurricane Lane. What do you think?
I'd agree entirely that he'd be as good as Hurricane Lane.
Yeah.
I mean, next year I'd love to see him in a King George with a couple of pacemakers going at it like Mad Harry and him set out at the back, because I think he'd come up that Ascot straight like the devil was after him, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll tell you what as well. On pedigree, it certainly doesn't scream that he wants really soft ground, like obviously, like he got. See the stars out of an AF mare is certainly not bog standard. I mean, was the full brother? Is it the full brother? No, it's the half brother, Turgenev. He was a bit sort of jadey in a finish, but I never saw him wanting soft ground. So again, it's interesting the path they're taking, and me and you both agree that possibly 1.5 miles might be his sort of best distance. And like I said, the way he's keen and stuff. I hope they step him back and not step him up. But anyway, he's an interesting project. Nick the Nipper loves that horse. Right, so basically we'll come to some questions, and the first thing that caught my eye was Aiden O'Brien this week, Harry Potter, and an article yesterday in the Post when he was talking to Richard Forrestal, and he sounded quite bitter about all the drugs talk, and he's using phrases like this is pub bar room rumour talk, and he was quite upset, even though obviously you get he got done by the French. Obviously, they blamed the feed company. They were never going to blame themselves. I mean, that's the thing. If you're doing it, the last thing you're going to do is hold your hands up. So I don't get all this, whether you're innocent or not. No one is going to say, yes, I did. I gave it 6 needles, just before we. It's that simple. Just blame the feed. Let the feed manufacturers take the cop, because the feed manufacturers can't get fined. It's just contaminated feed. It's a very convenient excuse. And as we've seen, throughout many years, throughout every nation that does horse racing, Australia, USA, France, any nation, Ireland, England, it literally is ridden with fines for giving them illegal substances. And that's the thing. We've had Coral Cup winners. The guy that trained the Coral Cup winner this year. He got done as a ground trainer, and got banned from ground racing for doing, for basically giving him things he shouldn't. And that's what I'm saying. So for O'Brien, just to dismiss it out of hand, John.
Well, this is it. I think this gives you a good insight into what's going on at the top table in racing, really. They just think people are there to pay the money, go through the gates, lose a few quid, and piss off at them and keep the trap shut. Really, they don't think people have any right whatsoever to question anything.
Yeah.
Top and bottom of it, How dare you even infer that we're doing anything? Just look at our track record, And it doesn't wash because, as you say, every country in the world where there's racing, there's somebody fiddling about with bloody medals.
Absolutely. Yeah, that cannot be disputed. It's been done for donkey's years, not just in recent times, but just in recent times we get to find out about it. In the olden days, we not so much.
Back to the 70s, I mean, Jesus Christ, there was a spell there where the French everything they were sending over was just pissing up. And the likes of Angel Penner, I think he got done. Patrick Biancone, he got done. There was Trepan that was thrown out in the Eclipse. There was a boatload of horses. I mean, poor mate's led in a fucking King George, for Christ's sake. It's a good clip, and Christ almighty, I mean, she was like a bloody ironing board knocked together. How? I mean, you just didn't make your head spin what was going on.
Yeah, and Andrew Woodman chimes in. And he has his 10 pence worth. He says, "What's worse, the pub talk, nuts and hay, or ramping up a horse as the best you've trained when a stallion position needs filling, John?"
Another ridiculous statement from a man under extreme pressure, I would say. Basically, I mean, he anything you say or ask him as a reporter, you're not going to get any insight whatsoever. It's either verbatim reading aloud from the Colmar catalogue, or the Codswallop about how dare you question us. I mean, that's all you're going to get. I wouldn't even talk to the fuckers, to be honest. I mean, it's just pointless. You might as well listen to Tinnitus.
Yeah. So yeah, totally. I mean, he went on to say he was sort of like responding to the care. He was very bitter about the ride Shane Foley gave No Speak Alexander, obviously when it hampered his horse quite badly, Mother Earth, and he was very, very, very upset at that, and he said Ryan should have corrected his horse and not let him drift. So basically, he was saying about St Mark's Basilica when that drifted across with Tarnawa, but basically he said Shane should have got a month for dangerous riding what he did, and Ryan should have been banned for a week. Thoughts?
Again, it's really, very interesting that they come out with this utter nonsense when things don't drop exactly as they think they are entitled to have things drop. I don't actually recall Aiden O'Brien saying a word on the 29th of June 2008 when Johnny Murtagh took out Tartan Bearer in the Irish Derby, and Frozen Fire, I think it was up the inside, and made the most of a clear run while Ryan Moore was fighting to stay in the saddle on Tartan Bearer.
Yeah.
You know, that was just congratulations. Lovely to see Shamey riding a Derby winner, you know, and everybody had to be happy. As I say, they just want to make their own rules for me. And if it doesn't go how they think it should go, there's hell on.
Do you think, you have highlighted it for me already, and you said it at the minute he's sounding like a man under a lot of pressure, and
I believe he is, yeah.
Yeah, he just seems everything. He's very strained, you know. And I mean, the fact is, Jim Bolger's come out with the comments about drugs, and you know,
that's what disappointed me about that interview. I mean, why not say, well, your former mentor Jim Bolger seems to think Irish racing's running wick with drugs. What would you have to say to Jim, Aiden?
Well, I mean that's it. He's basically dismissing.
Question that was begging to be asked, wasn't it?
Yeah, and didn't. Yeah, exactly. You basically dismissed your former mentor as pub talk.
Yeah.
Like you say, it's as if I mean, as I said, you know, there's no evidence. We can present no evidence that obviously Coolmore, Aiden O'Brien is doing anything untoward. It's just the fact that to dismiss it as saying it's bad for racing. Again, it's always so insular as racing. It's bad for racing to talk about drugs and in the sport. Well, it's not, because it's an issue. It clearly is an issue. You know, we've had Al Zaruni, we've had so many, you know, and the old adage is, how many are doing it? And compared to it's not just the ones that have got caught. They haven't got 100% strike rate in catching them.
Well, that's it. No, I mean, if you think they're all getting caught, I mean, you're living in La La Land.
Yeah, it's interesting anyway. So, what do you think on that, listeners? What do you think on Aiden O'Brien's interview? A man under pressure? Is he speaking the truth in your opinion? And it is all bluster and barroom talk.
He's got this other one appeared in the syndicate with the lads now, haven't they?
The lads, yeah.
Where the hell's he sprung from, you know, with his claret and blue colours? Davis will love him, won't he?
Bit of West Ham there, yeah, for sure. Right, we'll move on, and we'll talk about Longchamp today. Le Bog, I thought it was today. Le Bog. We've got a fantastic day's racing in a way, like it was fantastic before it started. We got we got 6 Group 1s, and always nice to have a card like that. And we start with the Boosack, John. Any thoughts on the Boosack?
I thought the winner went a bit quick. I thought the winner did it all right. I wouldn't be rushing to back anything in there for the Guineas.
No.
Really?
No, it didn't. There's nothing in that really. Like, I mean, Agartha's probably better than the Bear Form, because Agartha, you know, and Flirdery of Andre Farbs, like you said, they've gone bananas, and Agartha's chased that and still finished 4th, and you know, and kept going. So I would say that for me shaped quite well. But there's nothing in there that's going to be winning a classic, I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I mean, I thought O'Shane did quite the right thing, aiming for the inside on the fresh ground, where there's the cutaway, as they like to call them these days, and made the most of that. But, you know, I mean, you'd be struggling to give it a rating of anything better than 117, I would have thought, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So then we go to the Grand Criterion, and Rafe and Ralph was bouncing after the race with Angel Blur, and the Italian doing his flying dismount. Again, I'm not convinced of the worth of the entire form.
Same again, really. I thought some of the fancied horses were maybe given a bit plenty to do, given that they didn't go and had on the front. You know, I thought Noble Truth was pretty much left alone to do his thing. and I thought this was probably marginally a slightly worse race than the Bosack, if anything.
Yeah, because on the preview show I mentioned about ancient Rome and Stone Age, and obviously they weren't going to improve for being dropped to 7. They're definitely going to be middle distance horses next year. So I didn't like the drop to 7 for either. And Ancient Rome's managed 3rd. And Ebro River's obviously not ran its race. So that's ran absolutely bombed out.
They had racing Ireland there, so I was surprised they ran there.
Yeah, I mean, Hugo Palmer beforehand was interviewed, and he sort of said, "Well, this horse will run through walls. It'll. But I think it were one too many for the season. I think he, like you said, the native trail race was the bottomer. That's probably bottomed it, because it's probably had to do a lot more than it's ever had to do to reach that level of form. I think just half a length behind Point Lonsdale. I think that's pretty strong form, and like you said, that's probably bottomed it. But again, we're struggling again for classic contenders out of that. Then we go to the big one, where the good old if you've got your German, I can remember on this pod last year, right? And what I think you said on this pod. What do we do when we're 3 foot deep? We back we have the good old German breds. You did.
I'm so sick about this, because I ended up with bloody Elenka.
You bite the other Adler Flug.
Right, Adler Flug, and the only other Adler Flug this goes and wins at 72-1.
And 140s on the machine.
Europe.
Yeah. A good dart score on the machine, John. 140. Huh. And neither of us have had a bean on. I think I mentioned it on Friday. I might not have done. I might have been drunk. Richard Gibbons put me bang to right as well on that. He said, "Kind Regards has never, ever won a Cumberland Lodge. It won a handicap, apparently on the same card or something." So it's just me in it. That's me to a T. Sometimes I don't know what day it is, especially after 47% worth of yeah. Anyway, it won at that meeting anyway. It's the kilts and anyway. So going back, it kind of sickened me off the fact that the German bred didn't get some, even just check away a score 140s. It's made me a bit sick. But anyway, we'll get on to the race itself. Obviously, it was billed up to be a bit of a corker. What were your thoughts on the runners and riders? You take me through everything that you saw in the Arc and what you think.
Obviously, my eye in the early stages of the race was on Elenka, and the Selner's Mark Hand shoved him out the stalls and wanted to be up there, and then he went Kane. I thought, oh, Christ. Because I think the horse that you're looking to be staying on the last 2 furlongs, the last thing you want to be doing is up there and maybe going half a stride too quick, and then when he went Kane, that was curtains. Adiyar, I just couldn't really believe the fact that he went to the front after 4 furlongs and then kicked for home where he did, which I think was probably about 500 metres out. Echoes of North Lights debacle in Longchamp, basically he rode that like Hurricane Lane's pacemaker, and got the result that you'd probably say would end up with, 3 lengths behind Hurricane Lane. Hurricane Lane's run well. I think that's probably just about done a career best there, I think. Tanar was running blinder. I don't think she could have done any better on that ground, which would make the winner a decent toe, really.
On that ground, yeah. I don't think there was any fluke about it.
No, it was sat in a good position. It's break 3 good horses there, and Sail Away was 5th that had the form with St Mark's Basilica, so that was solid. I think the Oaks winner has probably actually hit her level there, and I think that's the sort of rating that she should have been getting for winning the Epsom Oaks, etc. I think she's around a 112 horse.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give her more than that. But these inflated ratings that we've seen this season, the thing is, when you've got uncompetitive, I know it sounds daft, but uncompetitive Group One fillies races, you can't half get a flattered rating. Like I said, the Oaks was just a very, very odd affair. And then after that, just everything about the form level, divinely nicest Willow Party House. That was toilet form in the Irish Oaks. Then she beats Albaflora. On Albaflora, obviously, is not what you see with Albaflora's form. She was beaten 8.5 lengths by a pile driver in the Coronation Cup. And Menyon is here. He ended up killing Wonderful tonight. That was that, running it on fast ground. And in third was La Jaconde. So there's nothing in the form anywhere to say that's like you said. And I think you're right, John. I think you've nailed that. I think maybe give her a bit more, but I certainly don't. The big RPR rating she received this summer for.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, mate. I gave her 99 for that Irish Oaks.
Yeah, it was bad, wasn't it?
I thought she made shit.
It was bad.
And I'm not sure what the Racing Post gave her. I'd have to look that up. But, I mean, the Oaks, I gave a 114 for the Oaks.
Yeah.
Racing Post gave a 119.
Yeah.
The Racing Post at York rated that performance 123. Can you believe that?
Well, that is a bit of hype. I mean, if we put Snowfall in at 114 today, the winner comes out at 125.
Yeah.
Tanawa 121. Hurricane Lane 124.
Yeah.
Adayar 119. And you'd say that's about right. 119 is right because he got a bad ride. I mean, Buick, like you say, I didn't have a bet in the race, but I feel sorry for anyone that backed Adayar today because it was like a moment of madness again. It's that split decision, and he's clearly just lost his brain, and he's just gone go, and I even knew when he started kicking, I'm thinking this is too far out. So yeah, that was certainly interesting to say the least, that ride. But yeah, I saw no fluke with the winner, and I think Tarnow was an absolute top class mare. I absolutely think she's just a superb mare. And I'd like to. I hope she comes out again and bolts up in the Breeders' Cup. That's been mentioned.
I think she'll probably win that. I think that ground, the trip is probably just fair enough for her.
Yeah.
I didn't get the feeling she really hit the line.
Yeah.
Whereas I think, providing it's not rattling quick, I think. See a slightly better effort in the Raiders' Cup.
Just to finish, then, what Nick the Nippers mentioned about Hurricane Lane and Adayar, do you think they'd possibly both in training next year? What would you do? Where would you, where would you think one of them was off to sheds? One of them kept going?
I don't really think there's any point sending them to sheds unless you're desperate to breed off them with your own mares, because neither of them came to hand quick at 2. They were both October debutants.
Yeah.
They're both big horses. I mean, they're going to throw big slabs out there that's going to take time. And, neither of them are screaming commercial stallion.
Nice. That's a really good point. So, I mean, I've also read talk on Twitter today that, from some decent judges, some are saying that they'd drop Adayar back to 10. But what do you think?
Well, I think if you're going to make an appealing stallion to all comers, both of them could go with a 10 furlong Group 1. Adayar would probably, in my opinion, be suited to an absolute Mad Harry Eclipse.
Yeah.
Run a couple of pacemakers, sit him out the back and watch the pace die and see him come home up the Sandown Hill. The the other one, I don't know, maybe York, sit handy. And
yeah, I don't fancy Hurricane at 10 in a Group 1 unless it was a weak one.
I think you'd have to get lucky, like maybe there's a Shadari type performance, kick 3.5 out at York and hope nobody comes and gets you.
Yeah. No, good answers, John. We move on to the pre-Lopera, and we got a bit of a turn-up. Not a massive turn-up, but a bit of a turn-up. Ruggier won for Maxime Guillon with, obviously, favourite Adair beating into 4th.
Actually, messed this race up completely, to be honest. I thought he went bananas on the front. Adaria clearly sat in his slipstream. Mendezabal thought he was cruising, had it in the bag because he obviously had no idea how fast he'd been going. Laid it wide open at the closes. Adaria's run well below form there, I think, than about 107.
She finished. She got beaten a photo by the second last time out. She got beat about a length and a half today. I do think she's ran quite well, to be honest. Like, given the pace,
yeah.
The leaders obviously dropped out and finished 7th. The one that was sat 3rd that I fancied, Ambition. She's always finished close up to Adair, where she's not run a race either. So the pace has literally collapsed. This is like England against West Indies in the 80s. Like you go from 47 for none to 85 for 7. In strides, and that's what happened to the pace in this. Dettoriad is absolutely out. Sort of like well out of the way and came late, as did the winner. So it was all pace related. I'd be interested if Adair. Do you think Adair had a hard race?
Yeah.
That's the one worry, because I would imagine they've got the Breeders' Cup in mind again, and that would be the one worry for me. I thought she'd.
She's had early season. He should be able to bring her back.
Yeah. Be interesting to see vibes from Skeletor.
You could bring a week off games, wouldn't you, and bring her back, work her a week on Wednesday to see where we're at. And, you're only hardly even mid-October, aren't you? So you'd probably be out.
Fifth group 1 today. It was the Abbey. Normally kicks off the card, or used to, if my memory serves me right.
I don't like this new structure, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I prefer it when he kick the card off, really. But they decided to have a little mess around with it. And Will Ho's been on, and he says they can't race Group 1s like the Abbey on such a biased draw advantage track, can they? ? Well, to be fair, Will, high numbers have won 3 times in the last 10 years, so I don't know if that's a big buy. I know what you're saying. That it clearly was today. There was a big advantage, probably, obviously the closest that far rail as is renowned. It's empty advantage today for sure. I'm not so sure that's always the case, but maybe someone could correct me on that. And he said basically also with Champions Day, more Group 1s on very soft ground due to a longer flat season. Will we get more soft ground monkeys as stallions and broodmares for the future, which can't help the breed, John?
It's one of these things, isn't it? It does piss you off when you do have a wet October and you get this mating run on a bog, and then you go to Ascot and it's like a ploughed field. Nobody has a nice day at Champions Day, do they? It's just shitting, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Whereas at least when the Champions Stakes was run at Newmarket, you had probably a 60 to 70% chance of it being run on good ground.
Yeah.
And you had the only straight 10 furlong Group 1 in Europe, which, made it a bit unique. Now it's just one of several round a big bend into a short straight.
Yeah.
And the only thing setting it apart is that they make a print that's about knee deep.
Yeah. It's like you say. It's a good question, really, from Will, because you've said for a while that because of the change in ground, it's got to have an effect on the breed going forwards. And if we're forever racing on soft ground throughout the summer and in the autumn, it's just we're gonna have the old. We will never have good to firm ever again. It's going to be good at best, and the standard will be. I could see the standard in 10 years being good to soft.
It doesn't help that you're not going to identify sound champions. Horses in like late 60s. Saraiva was a big horse. Acted superbly well on hard ground. Not so much needing digging the ground. I know there was talk he got a bit jarred of the knees in the Eclipse, but was rattling fast at Epsom when he won, and he come down the hill. Nikinski was probably even bigger. Again, rattling fast ground. Grundy and Bustino, that race run on rattling fast ground.
Yeah.
And, it sorts them out. You end up with a stallion there that its conformation's right, it moves right. And you're getting things going to stud now with inflated ratings that throwing these heavy-shouldered bloody things, that you can't train.
Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah. Going back to the Abbey, Soeza for me just ran flat anyway. That's what I'd be saying to Will. The reason I say she's ran flat, because Mo Salita beat her from stall 10. So Mo Salita had stall 10, Soeza had stall 12, and Mo Salita.
Well, Soeza ran as though there was something amiss because Pesley was inert, wasn't he? It was just holding it together. He was trying to collapse.
I think so. I think that. I watched her. Again, no playing the race, but I just watched her and I thought there's something not right. There were no. At every race she's shown this season, she's shown some really good acceleration.
Crab today, she was shuffling. She wasn't running.
Yeah. Well, you can see there's no way Mo Salita beats her. No disrespect to Trotter Nichols and stuff. It's just that's just not going to happen. So yeah, I just felt she just wasn't quite right, and that's the only thing I took from the race. Yeah. Everything else, Glass. But apart from obviously the obviously stall 5 beat stall 2. Adrian McGuinness, bit of the Irish super unleaded in there to be 5 clear of Glass Slippers in third. A funny race is the Abbey. We've had some funny results in the past in that, haven't we? It's sometimes a tricky race to get right, but that's my take on it. Anything to add on that?
Not really.
Okay, we'll move on to the Prix de la Forêt, the final Group 1 on the Sunday card. And Space Blues managed to avenge my horse, Kinross, as defeat on it at Goodwood. I was not entirely happy with the ride from the Italian, I'll be honest. He had it, it's as if he preempted he was going to drop it right out, which he did. And he was 3 lengths behind Space Blues. I'm thinking, you're going to do well to give that 3 for nothing. And lo and behold, he's beat 3.5. I'm not saying he beat Space Blues today or anything. I'm just saying I wasn't happy from the start. I was moaning. I was literally chuntering and giving it the old.
I felt he should have been second.
Yeah, he's one of them. I don't think he'd have beat Space Blues today. I'm quite magnanimous in defeat, but I just didn't rate the rider. I thought that was preempted what he did. I thought he was always going to do that no matter what. And I'm thinking, yeah, but you're giving Space Blues has got a brilliant turn of foot. You're giving it 3 starts. So
I don't think that's been a great race today either. I think Space Blues has only had to run to about 112.
Yeah, again, it's the Racing Post ratings and Timeform tend to go overboard on races like this and give them the full whack. And I don't like, put it this way, Kinross has not run to its mark. So if that's got an official rating of 114 or 115, I'd say Kinross is probably about 106 today. So if I key that in now while we're online, so I give Space Blues, so 106 for Kinross, and that comes out at 116 for Space Blues. So what is Space Blues official? 170. Maybe he's just, but I can guarantee you that
I've got Space Blues as 120 or so, absolute optimum.
Yeah,
I thought he was £8 shy of that today.
Could have been. Right, so that's covering the racing, and we've got one topic to discuss to finish the show, and we've just got a talking point. Just we can probably touch on this quick from John the analyst. He says talking point about Timeform. He says last week Ed Walker came out and said he was proud to use Timeform for his entries and research. Why should someone be proud of this in 2021, John?
Probably because of the featuring in a Timeform advert. I would have.
He might get it for. They might have just chucked him a 3-year subscription in or something.
Well, you'd think so. I mean, why would he even say that to anybody? Who asked him? Did it appear in a Timeform publication or something?
I think he actually. He said I'm sure he said I read it in Racing Post, maybe, but yeah.
I mean, I don't know where the hell that's come from.
It's out of the box, isn't it? Like you say, why would anybody just admit that? I mean, Timeform's a bit of a. It's all right, but I mean, there's nothing. You're not going to get an edge from.
I mean, you look at some of the entries trainers are making, you'd think they were using a kaleidoscope and knitting needles, wouldn't you?
Dave Simcox, I mean, we need to send him to a psychiatrist, and where he puts him under hypnosis, psychiatrist does, and just shouts out lead.
You'd have to do something like that, wouldn't you?
And then wake him up, and then yeah, for sure.
Absolutely ridiculous. That. I mean, proud to use Timeform. But he's just got advert written through it like Blackpool Rock, hasn't he?
So. It seems it. That's a year's free subs. Good old Ed Walker. If Ed Walker's listening, let us know if you got the free subs. Anyway, on to the final topic. And it is from John Hines. He says, let's have a free bet discussion, lads, please. And basically he's saying about punters that, have been banned from betting, etc., and bookmakers are sending them free bets. Now, my stance on it, John, is this, that we're going down the nanny state route. We're going down the police state, the managing of people's lives, the managing of you can only drink this much, you don't eat too much of this. And it's too safe. I'm a big believer. There'll be people that enjoy these free bets. Now, I'm not saying. And the thing is, if you've got a gambling problem, there are ways. And I can now even report that a colleague of mine has done the very same. He's excluded himself from betting. It's gone to GamStop, which means you can't reactivate your accounts. It's illegal for that bookmaker to send you anything, and they'll get in a lot of trouble if they do. And so basically that's the protocol. So for me, for punters that have got gambling problems and that's what they've got to do. They need to self-exclude themselves. They need to go down the proper channels and do it properly. Because if you're just sat there 3 months later and think, I hadn't had a bet for 3 months, I feel really good about myself, and then you get £50 of the Paddy Power free bet offers, you take them up, you end up doing a monkeying, after doing free bet money.
Back off the wagon, don't you?
But then they're wanting to blame everyone else. This is my point. This is what society we're in. There are ways to make sure that you can't take advantage of any more free bets or get any more literature from bookmakers. And if they're breaking that rule, you can then complain to the relevant bodies, and they will take heavy action against those bookmakers. So for me, John says like free bets equals drug dealer shenanigans, have some free to addicts. And John's a compassionate fella, and obviously John's very compassionate about the whip debate. He doesn't want the whipping racing. I think he's a knowledgeable guy. I've got a lot of time for a lot of his opinions. Don't agree with him on the whip like you don't. And I don't necessarily agree with him on this either. He's compassionate about people that commit suicide through gambling. To a degree, I am. It's just the fact that I always think that there are ways to stop yourself from doing it by excluding yourself right across the board, and no excuses. Then if you've only yourself to blame if you reoffend. If you've got a supportive family behind you, there shouldn't be a problem. But your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I hate the thought of anybody committing suicide through gambling. I can't sort of put myself in the mindset where someone would do that. I mean, I've had some terrible situations through gambling in my life, you know what I mean, where,
Yeah, it's not.
you know, I mean, I've thought, Jesus Christ, I can't see a way out of this, you know,
Yeah.
but it's because it's never entered my head to commit suicide. I can't really say what's going through the minds of these people because, you know, I'm wired up differently to them, you know, and I can't knock them for a condition that I have very little understanding about.
Yeah.
But what I would say is, as you rightly say, there is a protocol in place where they can exclude themselves. They maybe need more of that highlighting, you know, where it's made clear that you can stop, and the machine will help you to stop if you go down the right channels, you know. But it is difficult, you know, because like yourself, I'm not a fan of the state nannying people who don't have a problem and making it hard for them to have a drink, a bet, or whatever, you know. I mean, I'd open the whole lot up, mate. I mean, I'd have casinos all over the place and, you know, just trying to get the economy going a bit. But I can see that there's problems attendant with that you need to highlight the fact that people can get help to stop as well. You know, it's tricky. I don't think there's a black and white answer to it, though.
No, fair comment. I mean, let us know what you think, listeners, on problem gambling, because obviously it's starting to affect us all with affordability checks. And like John's messaged in, John Hines, he said about free bets, is this a problem for bookmakers? It's only a problem if you've left the channel zone, i.e. you've just decided to quit gambling, and then bookmakers are going to send you emails. If you haven't had a bet for a week, they're going to send you an email to try and get you to bet. That's their tactics. Probably, is that what's maybe wrong? I don't know. Possibly that should be maybe looked into a bit more. Maybe they shouldn't be sending maybe free bets emails. What's your thoughts on that, everyone? Because basically, I'm in the game full time, so I'm a bit biased in terms of how I see it compared to, say, what everyone else sees. You might have different opinions out there, and it's always good to hear from differing views on this. You know, should punters get free bets sent to them via email so they know that then they can log in and get a free few spins in the casino, etc. Is that fair, or is it unfair? It's a tough one. Like John says, I don't think there's no definitive black and white answer. I think all parties will have an opinion on that one. Good question, John. Thanks for bringing that up.
It'd be nice, actually, to get John on to talk about it and put his point of view at some point once somebody.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get John on a sermon, because John, we can talk to John about his opinion on the whip as well. So it's like a different opinion to what probably a lot of racing fans might think, but it offers the alternative side. So John Hines, we're going to get you on. Yes. Right, that's it for this show. It's been pretty cracking. Just to announce that from Friday, we're changing the format of the show, because we've had some feedback and we do listen. And me and John in particular have had a chat about it, and we think the show would be better if all the pundits on a Friday tipping show for the weekend just came up with the top three selections. We can do it as a naps table style as well when we get the Bar Stewards website launched. All a bit of fun then, bit of banter, who's top and bottom, etc., etc. And I think you'll enjoy that format more. We can be punchier. The shows won't be as long, probably round about 45, 50 minutes instead of, you know, always going over the hour mark. So hopefully that will make the difference in the offing and make your listening more enjoyable, which is what it's all about. That we listen, you know, you're the one that's listening to us, and we appreciate your suggestions, and so we're going to carry that out from Friday, and see how that goes. So look forward to Friday's show. We're trying to get Hitler. We've got Davis, so let's hope we can get Hitler on the show for Friday. That's all from me and John, and we hope you've enjoyed it. Have a great week. Bye for now.